Star Trek Strange New Worlds has to do one big thing for Season 5's ending plan to happen. Warning, contains potential spoilers for future Star Trek Strange New Worlds seasons. When Star Trek Strange New Worlds debuted in 2022, it promised to bring back the magic of episodic adventures while deepening the mythology around Captain Christopher Pike and his crew aboard the USS Enterprise. 3 seasons in, the show has delivered exactly that, spectacular standalone missions balanced with character-driven arcs that resonate deeply with both longtime Trek fans and newcomers. But with confirmation that the series has an ending plan designed to align with Pike's tragic fate from the original series lore, the road to that conclusion now depends on one crucial thing. The show must finally confront time itself. Season 5's proposed ending won't land emotionally or narratively unless Strange New Worlds fully embraces its destiny as a time-driven tragedy, and does so through Pike's relationship with fate, Spock's emotional awakening, and the future of the Enterprise crew. The show has flirted with this theme since day one, but if it wants to stick the landing, Season 5 must do something big, commit to Pike's vision of his future and the timeline consequences that come with it. Pike's fate has been the shadow over the entire series. From the very first episode, Strange New Worlds established that Captain Pike lives with the unbearable knowledge of his own future. Thanks to the events of Star Trek Discovery, Pike has seen the moment he sacrifices himself to save cadets from a radiation leak, an act that leaves him horribly disfigured and confined to a life support chair. It's one of the most haunting fates in Trek history, and the show's writers have been carefully building every decision Pike makes around this inevitability. Season after season, we've watched Pike wrestle with the tension between destiny and agency. Can he change his fate? Should he? The Season 2 finale, Hegemony, brought that question crashing back into the spotlight with the Gorn cliffhanger and the ongoing build-up to Kirk's eventual arrival. But the real heart of Strange New Worlds is Pike's acceptance or rejection of that doomed future. For Season 5's ending plan to make sense, Strange New Worlds must resolve Pike's arc in a way that doesn't just reaffirm canon, but also transforms it emotionally. That means going beyond teasing his destiny. It has to make him live it. Time is not just a threat, it's the final character. The greatest trick Strange New Worlds has pulled so far is using time as a narrative antagonist. From the Season 1 finale, A Quality of Mercy, where an older Pike sees the alternate future that proves changing fate only leads to worse outcomes, to Season 2's temporal experimentation with the crossover episode, Those Old Scientists, time has always been the unseen force shaping these characters. But here's the issue. While these moments are clever and emotionally resonant, they've largely functioned as one-off morality plays. The show has not yet woven time into its central fabric. For Season 5 to reach its intended end, the writers must treat time travel not as a gimmick, but as the living thread connecting Discovery, Strange New Worlds, and the original series. Whether it's through the time agents, the lingering after effects of the temporal Cold War, or the mysterious future knowledge Pike carries, time has to take center stage. Imagine this. Pike begins to experience flashes of events that haven't happened yet, visions that blur the line between prophecy and paradox. The Enterprise might even come into contact with a temporal anomaly that forces the crew to directly confront the moment of Pike's fate. Perhaps Spock and Una must choose whether to let time flow as it should or rewrite it entirely. That's the kind of grand, mythic confrontation Strange New Worlds has been building toward, and the only way Season 5's ending plan will truly land. Spock and Pike's parallel destinies must intersect. If there's one character whose emotional trajectory could make Pike's ending hit even harder, it's Spock. Over 3 seasons, Ethan Peck has taken Spock from a young, uncertain officer wrestling with his human side into a version of the Vulcan who is slowly becoming Leonard Nimoy's iconic character. That transformation is the show's second great arc, and it's one that directly mirrors Pike's. Where Pike struggles with knowing too much of the future, Spock struggles with feeling too much in the present. Pike fears what is coming. Spock fears what is within. For Season 5's finale plan to work, the show needs to fuse these arcs into a single emotional resolution. One compelling possibility? Spock becomes the keeper of Pike's legacy. Canon already tells us that Spock will later sacrifice everything to help his former captain after the accident. That act of compassion, seen in the original series episode, The Menagerie, is rooted in profound loyalty and love. Strange New Worlds has a chance to earn that future by giving us the full emotional story behind why Spock makes that choice. Imagine a final season where Spock is forced to make the same decision Pike once faced. Do you defy time for the sake of compassion, or honor destiny at all costs? Their intertwined journeys could be the emotional heart that makes the finale devastatingly beautiful rather than purely tragic. The Enterprise crew deserves their own resolutions. Beyond Pike and Spock, the rest of the Enterprise crew has become one of the strongest ensembles in modern Trek. Number 1, Una Chin Riley represents resilience and the right to belong. Lon Noonien Singh embodies the struggle to overcome the sins of one's lineage. Nurse Chapel, who's evolved into a complex and ambitious character, carries the torch of emotional honesty amid logic and duty. For Season 5's ending to have the impact it deserves, these characters can't just fade into the backdrop of Pike's fate. Their arcs must converge in the finale. Each of them should confront what Pike's destiny means for their own sense of purpose. Perhaps Una finally accepts that leadership is defined not by control, but by trust, leading her to take command in Pike's absence. Maybe Chapel must choose between following her medical duty and protecting Spock. And Lon, always haunted by time travel after Season 2's Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, could become the key to preserving the timeline. If Strange New Worlds ties these threads together, Season 5 could become not just the end of Pike's journey, but the birth of the original series era itself. The one big thing: embrace a full-circle temporal closure. So what's the single, indispensable move Strange New Worlds has to make for its ending plan to succeed? It must bring the story full circle through time, transforming Pike's vision of his future from a haunting prophecy into a purposeful act of destiny. That doesn't mean rewriting canon or magically saving Pike from his fate. Instead, it means redefining what that fate means. The tragedy of Pike has always been that he sees the future, but cannot change it. The triumph of Strange New Worlds could be showing that his sacrifice, his acceptance of time, is what creates the Starfleet ideals the Federation is built upon. A powerful way to do that would be to connect Pike's final choice to the temporal paradox itself. Maybe his accident isn't just a tragic endpoint, but a necessary anchor point in the timeline, one that keeps history intact. His sacrifice might be the very reason the Enterprise, and eventually Kirk, can continue to explore. If the show ends with Pike realizing that his doomed future ensures a better universe, it would transform his story from a cautionary tale into a cosmic act of grace. That's the kind of ending that could elevate Strange New Worlds into the pantheon of Star Trek's greatest stories. Why Season 5 could be Star Trek's most emotional finale yet? Every great Star Trek series ultimately asks the same question: what does it mean to be human in the face of the unknown? Strange New Worlds has answered that question with humor, courage, and heart. But to truly complete its journey, it must face the final unknown, time itself. Season 5's ending plan, whatever shape it takes, can't just rely on nostalgia or connections to the original series. It must honor the emotional foundation it has built, especially Pike's awareness of his mortality and Spock's growing humanity. If Strange New Worlds dares to end not with a battle or tragedy, but with Pike's peaceful acceptance of his destiny, his choice to step into history knowing what